Bukayo Saka allegedly called Trevoh Chalobah AFK in front of the entire England squad during a closed training session at their World Cup base in Atlanta. It wasn't just any argument. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't the press exaggerating. This is serious. Nothing like this has ever been seen days before a World Cup opener, and there's a detail the FA still hasn't confirmed publicly. Declan Rice had to physically step between the two players before things got out of hand. And the worst hasn't even come to light yet. Over the next few minutes, you'll understand exactly what happened and why this changes everything for England at the World Cup. When this happens days before a World Cup, it's not just any problem. This is Thomas Tuchel's dressing room, fractured less than a week before England face Iran in Los Angeles. This is squad unity shattered at the worst possible moment. This is your star winger and a defender competing for a starting spot going at each other's throats with the whole world watching. And the behind the scenes of this is worse than it looks. It all started on the third day of World Cup preparations at a private training complex in suburban Atlanta. Late morning, humid Georgia heat. Approximately 22 England players and the full coaching staff present during a small-sided possession game. That's when Trevoh Chalobah went in hard on Bukayo Saka from behind as Saka received a pass near the touchline. Saka went down. He clutched his ankle briefly, stayed on the ground for several seconds, then rose to his feet. According to witnesses, Saka didn't hesitate. He walked 10 yards directly toward Chalobah and reportedly shouted the expletive loud enough for the entire squad to hear. One source described the atmosphere as frozen. The entire squad stopped. Declan Rice moved between them. Chalobah allegedly responded with a dismissive hand gesture and turned his back, which only intensified the confrontation. Tuchel blew his whistle 3 times and called both players over. The session resumed 5 minutes later, but Saka and Chalobah did not exchange another word for the remainder of training. Nobody saw it coming. But to understand why this is so serious, you need to know what came before. This didn't come out of nowhere. Bukayo Saka has been targeted repeatedly by opposition defenders throughout his career, and sources close to the squad suggest he arrived at camp already nursing minor ankle discomfort from Arsenal's final pre-tournament friendly. Chalobah, meanwhile, has been under scrutiny to prove himself after limited game time at Chelsea and is reportedly desperate to secure a starting role alongside Mark Guehi in England's backline. The two have faced each other multiple times in North London derbies and Premier League matches, with Chalobah previously accused of rough treatment toward Arsenal's attackers. Training intensity had already been ramped up by Tuchel, who demanded full commitment in every drill. And here's the thing. One source claims Chalobah muttered something under his breath immediately after the challenge, which may have triggered Saka's reaction. But no one has confirmed what was said. And hold on, because the most controversial detail I've saved for the end. The dressing room is now split along club lines. Arsenal players, including Declan Rice, reportedly backed Saka's frustration. Rice has captained Arsenal and served as England's vice-captain for over 2 years. And people close to him say he believes Chalobah's challenge was reckless and unnecessary in a training environment. On the other side, the Chelsea contingent, including Mark Guehi and Reece James, are said to feel Chalobah is being scapegoated. Guehi witnessed the incident but did not publicly take a side. Neutral players stayed quiet. Harry Kane, England's all-time leading scorer with more than 60 international goals, remained silent during the confrontation, but held a private meeting with Tuchel afterward. The coaching staff reportedly urged Tuchel not to escalate disciplinary action publicly. The FA has issued no official comment, but sources suggest concern about the optics of internal conflict leaking before the tournament. And social media exploded. Arsenal supporters accuse Chalobah of intentionally targeting Saka. Chelsea fans argue Saka overreacted and disrespected a teammate. Neutral observers question whether Tuchel has lost control of the dressing room. English tabloids have seized on the story, with speculation about whether either player will start the opener on June 11th. And that's where it gets even more serious, because the clock is ticking. Tuchel must decide his starting 11 for the Iran match in less than a week. Medical staff are monitoring Saka's ankle, with a final fitness assessment scheduled 48 hours before kickoff. If Saka is dropped or rested as a disciplinary measure, England loses their most dangerous wide threat. Bukayo Saka has more than 60 caps for England and was a key player during the 2022 World Cup and Euro 2020, where he courageously took a penalty in the final shootout. If Chalobah is left out, it signals Tuchel prioritizes attacking talent over defensive depth. Chalobah has earned fewer than 10 England caps and is fighting to establish himself at international level after sporadic club appearances. Now, Thomas Tuchel is caught between two bad decisions. If he disciplines Saka publicly, he risks alienating his most creative attacking weapon and sends a message that star players won't be held accountable. But if he punishes Chalobah or dismisses the incident, he sets a precedent that aggression in training is tolerable and risks losing the respect of defensive players who feel unfairly targeted. Either choice fractures squad cohesion at the worst possible moment. And now the detail almost nobody has picked up on. Reportedly, at least one England player filmed part of the confrontation on their phone during a water break. The footage has not surfaced publicly, but insiders suggest it could leak before the tournament starts. If that happens, this story goes from a training ground argument to a full-blown media crisis that follows England into their opening match. This is the weight of what just happened. England's World Cup campaign hasn't even started, and the dressing room is already fractured. And look, this is far from over. This is the information going around so far. Over the next few hours, new details should drip out, and they could turn this whole story upside down. Over to you. Was Bukayo Saka justified in calling out Trevoh Chalobah? Or did he cross the line and damage England's World Cup hopes? Write it down below. And if you don't want to find out about the next bombshell after everyone else, subscribe and turn on notifications now. Because when this fully blows up, you'll want to be the first to know, not the last.